Hi, I'm Ajeeth. You've heard of plurals in nouns, but have you heard of plurals in verbs? Let's learn more about that. Welcome to Capshine. It's a revolutionary learn it together English fluency program. Through Capshine, learning English is easy, quick, fun, affordable, and effective. And we promise a whole new you in 6 months or less. Let's look at what we mean by plurals in verbs. So, a sentence must have a doer and an action. And a doer usually is a noun or, well, a pronoun. Some nouns, such as John, the car, Joseph and I, elephants. Do you notice the singular and the plural nouns here? Well, John obviously is singular, there's only one of him. The car is singular, only one car here. Joseph and I is plural because, well, when you combine two things with an and, it becomes plural. And of course, elephants, we don't know how many, but there are definitely more than one there. When you use verbs to describe these, well, you could say John swims. Notice how this verb ends with an S. In contrast, notice how elephants, where this noun is pluralized, ends with an S. A plural noun usually ends with an S, but a plural verb does not. In fact, it's the singular verbs that end with an S. A little confusing, I know, but stick on and you'll get a hang of it. So John swims because swims is singular and John is singular as well. The car runs well. Notice how, again, because the car is singular, we need to use a singular verb, runs. Joseph and I, there are two of us, therefore I use the plural verb, dance. I do not add an S here because then that would become singular. And of course, the elephants are beautiful. Elephants is plural, we use the plural verb, are. If you want to know more about is, am, and are, make sure you check out our video on that. Now, what if I wanted to use pronouns instead? Well, I could say he swims, it runs well, we dance, and they or those are beautiful. Notice how I use singular pronouns and I match it with singular verbs. It's quite simple. But of course, as with most things in English, there are exceptions. There are exceptions with how pronouns and the verbs they use can change. Let's look at a few examples. I am a teacher. Notice how I cannot use is, I have to use am. So I is special in that when I'm talking about myself, I will use am. I swim. Now the verb here is swim, but I is singular, right? There's only one me. Yet in English, whenever you use a verb as an action of what I am doing, you always use the plural form. I swim, I dance, I teach. We will not use the singular form with the S in it. You are doing great. Again, while you could be talking specifically about you, a singular, you, the pronoun, always takes the plural verb, are. Another example of this is you speak well. Notice how there's no S after the verb, it has to take the plural form, right? So I, when you're talking about yourself, you say I am. Otherwise, you use the plural form, and this is true for you as well, irrespective of whether the you refers to you as an individual or you as a group. Speaking of which, notice how knowing the right grammatical rules can make a huge difference in how you sound and how you present yourself. With the Capshine's revolutionary learn it together model, you get multiple opportunities to speak as a part of a group, to learn and practice with a group. You get monthly fluency reports from expert coaches who will guide you on what you need to improve to become a better speaker and a user of the language, and of course, access to daily micro lessons and live lessons that can help you become a more accurate user of the English language. Don't forget to subscribe and get your first 30 days free. Another concept very important for verb plurality is collective nouns. Some nouns may talk about or may include multiple individuals, but they're considered as one unit. For example, India has over 1 billion individuals in it. Yet when we speak about India, we always would use the singular verb as an action, when it does an action. India is a young nation. Similarly, the team is worried. The team might contain multiple individuals, but it's always considered singular. A few more examples: a crowd has gathered, and of course, the army is prepared. Again, the army would contain a lot of soldiers in it, yet when you talk about the army, you speak about it in the singular. Great. Another concept that you need to keep in mind is that of, well, pronouns that are indefinite. There are certain kinds of pronouns which do not specifically talk about something, but they are indefinite, and some of these are always singular. Let's look at a few examples. If I say anybody, for example, anybody is allowed into that house, right? Anybody is. Anybody, anyone, anything. All of these are always singular. Similarly, nobody, no one, nothing. These are always singular. And of course, somebody, someone, something. Somebody is going to have to take responsibility of that. Somebody is. And this one might shock you, but everybody, everyone, everything. These are also, in strict grammatical sense, singular. Everybody is expected to attend tomorrow's meeting, right? Everybody is. These are singular. And when sentences use each, for example, each of the boys is doing really well. Each of the boys is. Each makes the subject singular, therefore you would use a singular verb. Either would also in many situations make a sentence or the subject singular. Either of the boys might get in. Either. Or neither. Neither of the boys are going to get into that college. Neither of the boys is. While it might be very tempting to use are there because there are boys, notice that either and neither would always be followed by is or a singular verb. Let's have a quick quiz to refresh what we just saw. Neither of the boys is blank are invited. We know that neither is singular. Therefore, what do we use there? Well, of course, is. Mathematics, blank fun. While it is true that nouns that end with s are generally plurals, this is not always the case. Mathematics is the name of a particular subject. It is singular. Therefore, you would use is. The family, blank watching a movie. The family, of course, contains a bunch of individuals, but it's considered as one unit. Therefore, it's a collective noun. You use is. Everyone in the choir sings or sing sweetly. We know that everyone, even though it has multiple people, is considered as one thing. It's always singular. Therefore, you would say sings. And finally, I blank going to the party. And if you remember from one of the previous videos that I spoke about, you always use am with I when you're talking about yourself. Great! I hope you had fun learning and you learned something new about verbs and plurals. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe. Also, do not forget to check out capshine.com and download the Capshine app to get your free 30-day trial. Cheers!